It's all bullshit except for the pain. The pain of hell. The burn from a lighted match increased 1,000,000 times. Infinite. Now, you don't fuck around with the infinite. There's no way you can do that. The pain in hell has two sides. The kind you can touch with your hand, and the kind you feel in your heart, your soul, the spiritual side. And you know, the worst of the two is spiritual. What is up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Movie Night within the year of PCPX. And if you got a problem with PCPX, I got two words for you. Mean streets. Outside of that, you can suck my fucking dick. There you go. We're going to be talking about a great movie tonight. The third film from Martin Scorsese, which is also the first film by Marty that really kind of put him on the map. Who's That Knocking on My Door was like a student film, elaborated. Boxcar Bertha was him working with Roger Corman, learning how to make film. And then he decided, let me make the movie I want to make. And he's been making a version of this movie his entire career. Tonight, we're talking about Mean Streets, starring Harvey Keitel and Robert DeNiro, plenty of others. But let's bring in the panel. It's Jelani. Good old Jab. What is up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Not a goat. Hi. It's good to be here.
It's good to see you, man. First time watching for you, right?
Yep, this is my first time. It's a special watch, I will say. So I have notes.
Hell yeah. Speaking of special with notes, it's Verno from Blood Splatter Chatter. What is up, my man?
Why? I mean, why? You know what I mean? That's my favorite line of the whole thing. Why?
yeah. Johnny Boy?
Yeah. He says it like 40 times in a row. Why? What up? Happy to be here, man. I'm stoked. First timer as well for me.
Bruh, 7 movies in 7 days? What are you, a fucking amateur? What's going on with you, man?
We actually added one, and we actually fucked that up, didn't get to it. But yeah, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna finish off the 7 at least. All
right, first time watch for you as well.
Yes, sir.
As
stoked
well as our number one dude, Stu from the Fan Club. What is up,
First time watch club. What up, man? So happy to be here. Yeah. First time watch for all of us except you, and you're kind of bitter about it, but that's all right.
It's all right. I just wish that y'all knew more about cinema, but whatever.
Oh, come on, man. You hadn't seen Thief. You hadn't seen Thief the other week.
You can buy as many Dr. Doom covers as you want, man. But I understand you don't have time to watch all these fucking movies.
I got no excuse there.
Me neither, man. But let's bring in Brooks. What's up, Brooks? How you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, man. You excited?
Yeah, man. You don't cleanse your sins in the church. You cleanse them on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to them, bro.
The mean streets.
That's right.
Every time that we do a Martin Scorsese film, and this is only, I think, the 3rd or 4th time that we've done one, right? I got to bring in my dude Fable. But my dude Fable didn't even realize this was a Martin Scorsese film until I told him this like a few weeks ago. So let's bring in Fable. What is up, my man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Look at this guy. He brings me in last. What's wrong with this guy over here?
I don't know
what's wrong.
You showed up last. Goddamn.
Hey,
all right.
Shit. What's going on, guys? Yep, first timer.
All right, let's get into it, man. So we all know Martin Scorsese, right? We've talked about Goodfellas. We've talked about Casino. I think those have been the only 2 Scorsese films that we've talked about, really.
Taxi Driver,
right?
We did.
Oh, we did Taxi Driver. You're right. Yeah, boom. There you go. Taxi Driver. But I have mentioned this movie before, saying, and I've mentioned this on the Goodfellas and the Casino reviews, where I was like, there's kind of like a trilogy there with Martin Scorsese, right? And it's Mean Streets to Goodfellas to Casino, where it's about organized crime on all different levels from a personal perspective. It starts with Mean Streets. Mean Streets is like the most street level you can get on this kind of a story, right? Then we bump that scale up a little bit to Goodfellas. We bump it even further for Casino. So I'm super pumped to be talking about Mean Streets. I got this beautiful Criterion Blu-ray right there. You guys should go check it out for yourselves if you haven't watched it already. I love this film. It's Scorsese's third film. So we did Who's That Knocking on My Door with Harvey Keitel. And that movie is kind of like a little bit incoherent at times, but it was basically like his it was like his film school graduate, like it was his what do they call that? When you have your thesis. It was his thesis, right? To get his master's in film, right? And then of course we know that he then worked with Roger Corman on Boxcar Bertha, but then was it John Cassavetes or Jim Cassavetes had told him, hey man, you just worked a year of your life on a shitty ass movie like Boxcar Bertha. Why don't you do what you really want to do? Which turned out to be Mean Streets. That being said, I think Who's That Knocking on My Door is a really good first feature film from a college student. I think it's better than Dark Star. You know what I'm saying? And I love Dark Star, but that's the John Carpenter film. But then you got Boxcar Bertha. Yeah, it's a Corman picture. Yeah, it's an exploitation picture, but it's pretty fucking dope, right? So Scorsese's decided, let me work out this Mean Streets script, which was initially a follow-up to the characters in Who's That Knocking on My Door, right? But then he changed it around, decided that let me just make it standalone. And that's a problem that a lot of people have when they're trying to start writing or making comics or filmmaking or something. They feel like everything's got to be connected in some kind of way. Everybody's wanting to improve on their previous ideas, right? But Mean Streets is the movie that made everybody know who Martin Scorsese was, right? This movie let everybody know who he was and who Robert De Niro was, right? And I think this movie's fucking phenomenal. I think it's great. I think it's one of the most personal films that Martin Scorsese ever made, right? And he says that. He's like, I wanted to make a story about my life. Now, granted, by his own admission, there is no narrative structure in this movie. It doesn't have a clean first, second, and third act or anything like that. But this movie was straight up meant to be Marty's life told through an experience, right? But we're talking about a filmmaker who's nobody knows who they are. And they're able to somehow get together $600,000 for this movie. Half the budget for this movie was securing the songs for the movie because that was important to him. Let me tell y'all something. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Michael Mann's Thief. Everything that Michael Mann is as a filmmaker is prevalent in his first movie. Well, for Marty, it took 3. But this is his real first movie, and everything we know and love about Martin Scorsese is there in 1973 in an early 20-year-old making a fucking movie. I love it. Brilliant performances, a very brutally authentic and real and tragic story about life and expectations of life. I love the music pick for this movie. I can't believe nobody could get Rolling Stones back then. Martin Scorsese did it.
Right? It's 73 too.
He had 2
they were
Rolling
scorching
Stone
hot.
songs.
Yeah.
He was able to afford 2. He wanted a third one, but they couldn't quite get that. I love this fucking movie. And this is a movie that I first watched, goddamn, 20 years ago. When I really understood who Martin Scorsese was as a filmmaker, how much I appreciated his work. He's one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. I went back and I made sure I owned every movie of his on DVD. I watched them all in order. And this one still slaps. There is something so authentic, so real. And I guarantee you that in my personal life, and I think some of y'all might agree with this over time, I can't think of a better fight scene in a gangster movie than the random ass scene they get into at the pool hall, where it feels that feels like a real bar fight. It feels like a real bar fight, right? There's a documentarian style to this. Goodfellas does not happen without Mean Streets.
Mm.
And Casino doesn't happen without Goodfellas. And The Departed doesn't happen without Casinos and Goodfellas, right? So this is a very, very important film in Scorsese's filmography. But it's the first time for everybody here but me. So you out there in the chat, let us know what you think. Jelani, what do you think about this movie overall? And sorry you had to rent it. I'm sure you had to.
Yeah, to rent it. Thanks, man. Yeah. By the way, I rented the last 3 movies that we've had on this list. So what the crap? And then the worst part is I didn't even get to be on 2 of them because I had to work. I was very pissed. But yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's 73, so I get it. It's gritty New York. It's authentic as hell. This is one of the most authentic movies I've seen in a really long time. You get these like low-level goons. I mean, and they're like running numbers to the fact where like the Charlie's love interest Teresa's like, "You're running numbers," and he's like, "No, I'm not." And the scene just cuts because it's like, mafia's not real. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, you're not in this, or you're not. I don't know if they're even in this. That's the worst part too. You don't know if any of these guys are made men except for Charlie's uncle, who, if you just gone to your uncle, none of the problems would have happened.
He did go to his uncle. His uncle said, "Don't sleep with that chick and don't fuck around with this dude.
Don't fuck around with this dude." But he still should have gone to his uncle. Like, hey,
again.
Help me. Yeah, fuck that, you know. But he ends up where he began, basically screwed the fuck up. It's such a good movie to the fact that Robert De Niro is an American treasure. That man, I don't understand why his choices in film, you know, now are so terrible. To where he's been in some of the greatest movies of all time. I don't understand that, because his performances when he's younger, he's fantastic, especially with Scorsese, especially some things. I will, by the way, just on record again, I will never watch The Irishman. I do not care. I don't care. It's like 90 hours long.
That's a great movie, man. I'm just
so good.
It's a great movie. So good.
So good.
I keep hearing it. No, I don't care.
Bro, watch it. It's good.
Hey, did you know that Bobby De Niro and Harvey Keitel are in that movie?
Yes.
And it's directed by Martin Scorsese?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Delaney?
And a 1,000-year-old Joe Pesci.
What's the hold up?
It's 14 hours long. I gotta take like
it's like what, 3 hours long, y'all? It's like 3 hours long.
This whole stigma over like long movies or the run times, man, I'm not with that, man. So just give it your time. There's a right place, right time for every movie. There's a right place, right time for every movie.
It's the pace.
I'm still mad I had to spend $4 on it.
I'm here with you, Delaney. I'm here with you.
I know you are with your 90-minute ass.
I'm just trying to say, this ain't like Irishman ain't a Judd Apatow goddamn fucking sad fucking
that's
comedy.
one of the reasons I won't watch it. That's one of the reasons I won't watch it. Long ass comedies and long ass dramas.
All right, motherfucker, you ready for this? I guarantee you'll watch the fucking Irishman, because I'm going to pick it for next year. So you just wait and fucking see, motherfucker.
I won't watch it.
Yes, you fucking will, because you cannot resist the idea to come up on an Irishman movie review and say it's too long. So I know you, Delaney. I got you already.
I'll fall asleep in the middle of it. I won't remember.
But you won't. You'll actually be riveted. You'll be riveted, man. You'll be like, this movie. The only bad thing about this movie is the shitty ass de-aging that they're doing.
Yeah.
True.
It's so good.
Very true.
I'll see how that goes, but you do what you wish. I will try to be here as best as I can, but I will only watch half of the movie.
I will never watch this movie. I'll try to be here next year.
I'll be asleep. I'll be dead asleep through that movie. I'll cut it on, and then that's it. I don't pause nothing. I watch it from the beginning to the end. I have to. No, I don't care. No, I don't care.
All right.
I refuse to watch it.
What do you think about this movie, though?
Like I said, it's all right. See, 9 pound got it. Y'all are perfect. Yeah, it was fine. It was, like I said, it's gritty. It has no point. Like it doesn't get a plot until like the third act. Yeah. Like I don't get no plot to the third act. That's a lot of work. You get there and you're like, and Michael's cool. Michael's all right. He just wants his money. He wants the vig. All you gotta do is pay the man his vig. Oh, everybody in town, and like Charlie's trying to.
This $10 not good enough for you. This $10 not good enough for you,
man.
Johnny Boy is. We all know a Johnny Boy, and it's all better if we all just like disassociate ourselves with that dude as quickly as possible, right?
Like I feel like we all had a point in this movie where we want to slap the shit out of Harvey Keitel. Like, bro, just give up the ghost, man.
Yeah. That's stupid. You asked for this. That's the worst part. Quit asking for things, and you don't know the consequences of pulling a gun on like a fucking loan shark. Are you serious right now?
If any of these dudes is made men, and I don't think any of them are, but Michael's the one that's the next up, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yep. It just makes no sense.
And he's straight up like, that's a powerful scene, dude, when he's like, you're a jerk off to me.
I
borrow all this money from everybody and I don't never pay him back, but now I can't borrow money from anybody but you because you're a jerk off, man.
Right.
Dude. Of course he had to get the director of the film to fucking shoot him in the fucking face. You know what I'm saying?
Like, it's so stupid. I hate how this, I will say one thing. I hate how this movie ends. Like, it ends fine. Like, the shootout thing and all that stuff, it's fine. But, like, it just ends. Like, oh, God. Teresa's not dead. Johnny Boy is certainly gonna die. Because ain't no way you're going to survive a bullet to the neck for real in 1973. And then Harvey Keitel is shot, and it doesn't. I mean, it's so messy. The ending is just so damn messy. There's no clean.
I loved it, though. They really sold Teresa being dead to me. I really thought because her arm was all still in the window. Yeah, I really thought she was gone until they pulled her out.
Yeah, they pulled her out.
I'm kind of with you though. I wish it would have ended where they killed everybody, died, or
they should all die.
DeNiro and Keitel are dead, and Teresa's in there fucking having an epileptic. You know what I mean?
The thing is, Harvey Keitel. It's Charlie's story, right? It's Charlie's story, right?
Yeah.
He had a fate worse than death, which was excommunication. Like, he's done. He can't go back now because he's the guy that like kind of backed him up, right?
Well, could be worse.
That's a little part of the nuance, and you got to remember, like, we're 1 year away from the first Godfather film. We're not quite there yet with like Scarface and Godfather and like
I think
Goodfellas and what these
part
movies
one was
make.
in 72, a year before this, I think, and then
70. Yeah, yep, you're right.
That's why I just said we're a year removed from Godfather.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm just stupid. I don't know what the word "removed" meant. I thought you were saying we're a year away from it. My bad. Scratch that.
That's right.
Start over.
Maybe it's like we're a year after Godfather, but like they're making this movie before that even happened. Jelani, you thought it was okay. You got some questions, right? You got some thoughts.
I got some thoughts.
All right.
As we go through this, we will discuss them.
Hell yeah, we will, including the ending. What about you, Verno? First time watch for you as well. You fucking slacker ass motherfucker. What did you think about Mean Streets, man?
I definitely liked it. I appreciated it, but I see where a lot of what Jelani. I agree with everything Jelani said, but I still think I liked it more than he did or than you did, my brother. You said a lot of things in the intro, Robbie. First of all, just right before we got rolling, I looked and I had always thought that this was his first film. So I thought that was interesting, but I think it's because this is the one you hear referenced. It's a movie, as I said, I'd never seen it. And I feel like if you walk up to most like normies on the street and be like, you ever seen Mean Streets? They'd be like, no. You ever seen Goodfellas? Fuck yeah. Favorite movie of all time. But I feel like
if you asked them what the first Martin Scorsese film would be, they would be like Taxi Driver.
Yeah, probably. But I feel like
there are no Scorsese bros.
It is. As soon as I put it on, I think I went in expecting it to feel more like a first-time filmmaker. You know what I mean? Like it feels so much like a Scorsese, a recognizable Scorsese movie. And as far as like pretty much any movie you could watch from 1973, it feels more modern and recognizable. It's just like you can see the influence. It's like You know, the other thing, what I was gonna say is like I hear all the time other like filmmakers will say, they'll talk about it as like, well, and then I saw Mean Streets, and that was a game changer. So I think it had more of an impact like on filmmakers than it had on culture, pop culture. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure it was big. I'm sure it was big at the time. But I will agree. I'm also glad that you said in your intro that it doesn't have like a traditional narrative structure. Because that was one thing I was like, while watching it, Stu, you've heard me say it a couple times on Blood Splatter Chatter, but the and then storytelling, right? You're supposed to replace your and thens with therefores or because. And this has a lot of like, and then this happened. And then we went and fucked around with a tiger for a moment. And then this happened. And it leads it to have a meandering thing, but I feel like that's kind of an aspect of a slice of life film. Where you have moments in this film that really don't have anything to do with the plot, but they're just there to give you like a feel and a vibe for living in that world, which is cool. And I appreciate that, but it gives it a meanderingness to it. I joked around and said to Steph, Mean Streets, more like Meander Streets, because it does have a bit of that. And also I thought the streets would be a little bit meaner. You know what I mean? They're not the meanest fucking streets, because I'm used to also, like you said in your intro, Robbie, great intro, by the way, like the way that it steps up, like these are the lower level guys on the street.
Yes.
And also, like you said, Jelani, I'm like, who is the criminal? What is going on? It's I have in my notes an hour in, and I realize like I don't know what the movie's about. I don't know what it's about. And then I realized like, oh, okay, I guess like the him looking out for Johnny is the plot. That is like the main thing in the movie, but it's not clear at all. Although they do open up the movie with it. But it is it's like weird. It's just like a strange type of movie.
I'm not gonna sit here and argue with how you took the movie. Obviously, that's very real, right? Like, and it's I think it's a visceral film that comes across in a very visceral way. But the whole, I've seen this movie several times, right? And him taking care of Johnny, that is the story, because that's what he thinks his penance is.
Right. And I did get that. I did get that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Because it does. And I get that. Like watching it a second time, I saw like it opens up saying he's looking for a redemption and he can't get it through the church. And then the next thing you know, you've got his friend and like, that's his idea of how he's going to get redemption.
So, doesn't he?
That whole opening thing where it's like, it's all bullshit, right? Like I can say all these Hail Marys all I fucking want. I can say all the Our Fathers I want, but if I can save this guy, if I can save my childhood friend through these mean streets, right? And remember, Mean Streets comes from that poem. I can't remember from the dude, but it's like mean streets, but like the person walking them is not like as mean as the streets are, right? That's a big fucking part of this movie, dude.
I took that from it too. Well, I think for a lot of people in the world, this was probably their first time seeing a movie that treated the bad guys the way that this does, that shows all the nuance that's going on these said mean streets. I might be wrong, but I feel like, and you guys both said authentic. I have it in my notes. Authentic. That's like the big takeaway from this for me. Like, holy crap, does it feel real? And it's also like the defining characteristic of Scorsese's career after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of authentic, Stu, give us your thoughts on Mean Streets. First time watching, man.
Yeah. First time watch. I just want to point out Corman, dude. I heard in an interview with Scorsese, he said Corman sat him down. He had the script. He read the script. Offered him $150K to make it a blaxploitation film. I thought, like,
I'm one of those dudes who thinks it would have worked that way too, man. Just so you know,
it probably worked.
That seems.
You got Pam Grier in this fucking movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like, I'm just saying.
It would work. I'd watch that.
But yeah, you guys have already said so many great things. It was, I think, one of the things I had to constantly remind myself, like watching it, was, man, these things feel so normal and registered for me when it comes to a Scorsese film. But trying to like juxtapose that with like the time and the place and like it arriving on the scene in 73, it had to feel so fresh. There's so many moments throughout it that just are hallmarks of his filmmaking that are just beautiful and well done. And despite, the thinness of the plot, I love what Verno said. This does feel like the ultimate slice of life movie, though. This is what life is. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck was up with the lions, man? We never learned what happened. What happened with lions? Like, shit was here today and then forgotten about. And I just loved that experimental aspect of it, both in filmmaking and like the storytelling. I thought it was brilliant. And you see so many early Scorsese seeds throughout it. So it was a joy for me to watch. I agree. Like the third act the buildup is crazy, but regardless, I really love it. And I thought I had seen all the great DeNiro performances out there. This one, though, to me, is damn near perfect. I mean, it's fucking flawless. The way he inhabits this character, just from the start, like the very first scene you see him in. I know we're gonna get to that, but yeah, man, it was awesome to see. And one of those films, I'm definitely like Thief. I'm kicking myself for not getting to sooner, but yeah, loved it.
Hell yeah. What about you, Brooks? I know it was a first time watch for you. I know you're a Scorsese fan. So what do you think?
Well, I liked that the streets weren't nice. They were very mean streets. So it lived up to the title, which is good. And
it was almost going to be called Asshole Avenue, but they're like, no.
That would have worked just as well, really. But yeah, like I really
that's going to be the name of PCP Movie Night in 2026. By the way, Asshole Avenue. I love it.
But yeah, like I really like this movie. It's like a gritty crime drama, but it's like it's different. It functions different from like The Godfather, because The Godfather is like Michael's story over periods of time, where it just shows you like the exciting parts mostly. Whereas this movie is like, it's more of like an everyday movie, like, what a gangster would be like, and so that's why it does feel more mundane. It feels like, there's not as much, action going on. It's more about, the little details of the life, this kind of life that these guys are living. So yeah, like I really enjoyed it. Actually, I double watched it. I liked it so much. So,
you pulled a fucking Burno, man.
Whoa. Let's go, Brooks.
I think the characters in this movie are really what make it stand out now.
Brooks was like, how long do I have to watch this movie until my rental is over? 48 hours? Fuck it. I'll put it in 2 times, man. Let's go.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, dude. Excited, man. I'm excited, man. Okay. Fable. Every time we do one of these Martin Scorsese films or a Spike Lee film, we got to have a New Yorker here. I've already told you are here for every Marty Scorsese film that we do, right? Like, it's just the way it is. It blows me away. This is your first watch. I'm curious, man. What'd you think, man? Being such a fan that you are.
If anybody on this panel echoed my thoughts exactly, it would probably be Verno.
Hey.
I enjoyed the film for its performances. I enjoyed the film for the genesis of a lot of things from my favorite Scorsese film, which is Goodfellas. I mean, I can do Goodfellas backwards and forwards. So I'm watching this and I'm seeing like so much parallels. Like it's insane how much he took from this movie. But the problem is that I saw that movie first, and that movie is this movie sharpened to an edge. Like, you know what I mean? It's so much more refined than this film. But that being said, I did enjoy the characters. I did enjoy the performances. I gotta agree with Stu. This is one of my favorite Robert De Niro performances. He was absolutely fantastic in this film.
And this is like his first real performance, right?
Yeah.
And he kills it, dude.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I even like Tony, David Preval.
Tony is great in this movie, dude.
Richie Aprile from The Sopranos. All I can think about is Richie Aprile.
That dude's just trying to like make sure his bar tab gets paid up and still try to rectify justice, man. Yeah. Like the first time I know we're talking about the structure, but like this is one of those first movies that does it like whole bit where you get like an introduction to each character and a freeze frame and then like the caption down there. And dude, like this dude is always like, get that fucking shit out of my fucking bar or whatever. But when it comes to Charlie and Johnny Boy, he is able to like skirt that a little bit more, right? So there's some depth to that character, man. He's great. Sure. No. And you're right, dude. I forgot he was in the fucking Sopranos, dude. Yeah. He's fucking great in that shit.
I had
every
to
time I
learn
watch
the
a
whole
Martin
time.
Scorsese, every time I watch a Martin Scorsese film, I want to rewatch The Sopranos.
Because most of the cast is in it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. But I gotta echo a lot of what Verno said with meandering and ending that kind of like left me like, what, credits roll. Like I wasn't feeling that. What drew me ultimately to this movie was Harvey Keitel's character. And because I have felt like Harvey Keitel a lot in my life, like a lot. Like I grew up in a pretty shitty New York neighborhood in the 80s, which is not too far removed. I looked just as shitty as these streets. And I knew a lot of Johnny boys, not just one. I knew 10 Johnny boys. And I felt like I was often the guy trying to be like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? I'm telling you what to do. And it's like, what are you? Well, why are you shitting on me? Why are you raining on my parade? That kind of thing, like Johnny Boy does to Harvey Keitel through the whole movie.
Wow.
Yeah. What? I often felt like I was trying to be that voice of reason for these knuckleheads. So that's what drew me to the film. But like Jelani said, I think it's okay. I think I liked it better than Jelani, like Verno said. But I also, like I said, what ruins this movie for me the most is that I saw Goodfellas first, and Goodfellas takes all the elements, the music, the camera shots, the silliness, like the bar fights and stuff like that. And he just refines that shit to an edge in Goodfellas. So but this is a cool genesis of all of that, and it's cool seeing the genesis of all of that, because it's like, okay, you took this movie and you just did it again, but you did it like really good. Like,
it's like 18 years later, he revisits it, steps it up just a little bit, and we get Goodfellas, right? But I love what everybody said. The performances, the characters, they're authentic, they're real. The performances are real. I'm going to be nice tonight. Jelani, what's a performance you want to highlight in this film, my friend?
Mercy. Oh, I'm going to go first because okay. All right. I appreciate this. This is an honor. And with that honor, I will choose David Carradine as the drunken guy.
Yes.
David Carradine is the best fucking character in this movie.
Bulletproof.
And he's absolutely bulletproof. The man gets shot like 6 times.
Do you know who that is that shoots him, by the way?
Who is it?
That's another Carradine. It's the dude from Revenge of the fucking Nerds, man. The main guy.
Oh, yeah.
The dad in Hannah Montana. Like, it's that fucking guy. Or Liz McGuire, my bad. It's that fucking guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Robert Carradine.
Yeah, it's Robert. Yeah, that's right. Robert Carradine.
Robert Carradine. Yeah, but I know all the Carradines. David's Kill Bill. He's Bill. Because you can't kill him. He was so awesome in this, and like no one questions like the aftermath of that shooting either. Because like the man is shot 6 times. He basically is still alive and kill him up to the point where they somehow, or he somehow gets out of the bar. Everyone leaves, and it's mentioned once, and then that's it. That guy's just gone. He's just dead. And I'm like, that was fantastic. Like his performance drunk was fantastic. The performance of him getting shot was fantastic. The performance of him attacking his own brother, now that I know that, is awesome. It's such a great sequence of events to where it's amazing. It's absolutely baller. And you go out like a G. I mean, you drunk as hell. It's probably adrenaline and alcohol, but you go out like a G. So I appreciated that. I will throw another one in here none of y'all thought of, so I'm going to say it anyway.
Nobody said anything else, man.
It's the first one.
You weren't going to pick him. You ain't going to pick her. It was Jean Bell. That was the go-go dancer, the black go-go dancer. She can get it all day.
She can.
I guarantee you Stu was probably going to pick her, man. Like,
no one gonna pick her. Stu, you did not want to pick her, did you?
What? I just came back. Don't involve me in this shit. What happened?
You're so fucking greedy, dude.
I'm just gonna say, I would have picked her.
Hey,
He was like,
Hold on, you already picked somebody. You're trying to pick two people?
At least he's
Welcome
just getting warmed
to
up.
Delaney.
Wow.
All right. What about you, Verno?
That's what you're gonna do. If you get the baton first, and that's what you're gonna do with it.
What about you, Verno? What do you think,
That's how
man?
you
What's the
get it.
performance you want to highlight, man?
Man,
Delaney officially picked David Carradine. Okay. So.
Which, first of all, Delaney, thank you, because I did not know that was David Carradine. I had to
That's
look it up.
David
Like, what? Had no idea.
That man lived a life.
Dude, we've all mentioned.
Well, he was in Boxcar Bertha with Martin Scorsese. His second.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I this has made me want to go out check the two previous ones that he did. DeNiro, man. Every one of us mentioned DeNiro. I mean, across the board, the performances are great. We don't get a lot of the characters. We kind of just get little glimpses at most of them. And even in DeNiro, that's kind of one of my things. Like once I realized that, this is the plot of the movie. It's definitely about his relationship with DeNiro. Then I realized, like, where's DeNiro been for the past 20, 30 minutes? He disappears for a chunk of the movie when the movie really focuses on him, which is kind of cool, actually. But his, like Link said down there, his facial expressions, which he's known for, but there's some specific, particular ones to this movie. Like, I can't think of, maybe you guys can correct me, other roles where he plays anything like this, where he's a sloppy guy. He plays all these, like, really, like, controlled people that have these, like, fits of rage at times, where it's, like, boiling under the surface. But this is, like, the complete opposite of that, where it's all on the surface all the time. And he's, like, this goofy, silly, like, kind of over-the-top, sloppy guy that you feel sorry for, and you want to smack the shit out of him and Harvey Keitel the whole time. But I think this might be like my favorite performance of all time. And he's obviously got some of the best performances ever. But this one was so cool. I can't think of anything he's done like it.
Yeah.
He might be one of the most I don't want to say undersold, but he might be the greatest performer in American film in the 20th century, right?
I mean,
he just might be, dude.
He's definitely up in there, up in the top 5 for sure.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Just even that scene in Meet the fucking Parents where he's like talking to Ben Stiller about Puff the Magic Dragon. That shit really works. Speaking of Puff and the Magic Dragon, Stu, what's a performance you want to highlight?
All right, since
that
we
Delaney hasn't stolen yet because he did 8 of them.
No, I didn't. I picked 2. Actually, I also picked the lion because the lion was cute.
All right.
They call it a tiger and a panther in the movie, but I don't know. I think it was a lion too. I'm just.
Stu, it's your go, man. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. I'm going David Proval as Tony, world's worst bar owner, right? Like a guy just was all over the place. I don't know how he ran a business at the end of the day. But I thought he added real authenticity to the friendship and the camaraderie between the three. I particularly like that scene where they all went to the movies together and shit like that. I don't know. Like he just sold the idea of them being childhood friends, and he kind of had his shit together, but he also just wanted to fit in, and like the bar was his way of kind of providing that. Like when DeNiro's character first walked in, he looked like he wanted to fuck him. Like, you know what I mean? Like he had that look on his face like he was totally enticed with the dude. So I don't know. I thought he added a nice layer of brotherhood and complexity to the scene. And it was cool to see a familiar face from The Sopranos, like I already mentioned. So
yeah, no, he's great because he's like straddling that line,
Yes.
He's like annoyed with fucking Johnny Boy, but at the same time, maybe one day Johnny Boy will pay his tab.
Yeah,
right?
And he lets him borrow his car like after the shit goes down, and
like, that scene you were talking about where like Michael and Tony go to rip off those college kids or whatever, right? And then they're like, "How much did you get out of them? $20. Let's go to the fucking movie."
Hey, $20.
And then Harvey shows up, Charlie does, and he's like, "How much you make? $20? Let's go to the fucking movies." And we're like, "Oh, $20 in 1973 was way different."
Go.
Right?
And Chinese food. They said a derogatory word to get Chinese food, but they always got Chinese.
They said a lot of derogatory. Yeah, that's another very Scorsese moment. Is all these uncomfortable, racial, misogynistic things.
Yeah, it was.
Even aside from that, just the language in general was something that was very.
That's why I stopped.
Unlike other movies, right?
Right.
Yeah. But Tony was like Johnny and Charlie in one, right? Because he owned the bar, so he was responsible. But he was also with the shits.
Yeah, he was.
Shit happened.
Yeah. He's like, take my car. Like, yeah.
Hell yeah. Sure. Brooks, what's the performance you want to highlight, man?
Well, like, I think Johnny Boy would have been my favorite, like, because, like, the thing about Johnny Boy is, like, he reminded me of a friend I used to have. Robbie would know who he is, Jeff. Like, I got, like, throughout the movie, I'm like, man, this guy reminds me so much of Jeff. But I think, like, his antagonist, I guess, Michael, was also a character that I really like, because it's like, he seems like he's like the professional guy, you know, like, he's not like a complete buzzkill. Like, he can have fun with the boys, but like, you know, he also has, like, you know, he's a responsible adult, I guess. Aside from like Charlie himself, like they seem to be like the two that take things the most seriously. And like, you know, he doesn't want to be the bad guy, but like, you know, Johnny Boy just keeps fucking pushing him. Like, he keeps disrespecting him. He won't pay his money. So it's like, you know, he doesn't want to be the bad guy, but in the end, he has to, because, you know, that's the kind of world they live in. You know, someone disrespects you, you have to, like, you know, repay in kind.
He doesn't just disrespect them and void their goddamn contract, like their verbal agreement. He straight up pulls a gun on this motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Right?
He is over and over again, like, Johnny Boy just shitting on him, like, dude,
you're a fucking jerk off. You know, that's what I fucking think about you.
I borrowed money from everybody in the neighborhood and haven't paid him back. So who else was like, the whole speech was great. Like,
such a dick.
Yeah, and it's showing him how much, like, Johnny Boy is leveraging his friendship with Charlie.
Right.
Charlie's the one who's kind of like the mediator in this group.
Yeah, he's the one who's always trying to get him to, like, just go to talk to your uncle. Because, like, you know, he doesn't understand that dynamic between, like, you don't just ask somebody like, you know, like Mario for a favor, you know, and like, you know, as his nephew, like, he knows that. He's like, if I ask him for this, like, this is a serious thing, you know. But
and the fucked up thing is, if he went and asked his uncle would be like, this fucking kid is a piece of shit. This dude's gonna get taken out.
And cut the cord.
Like, we've all seen Sopranos. We've all seen other Martin Scorsese films. We've all seen the Godfather films. Like, Johnny Boy is the dude who gets taken out.
Yep.
Right? And the sad thing is, Charlie needs to let that go before the end of this movie. It's really,
he
really
shouldn't have said at the meeting. He shouldn't have done anything. He shouldn't have tried to escape with him. I'd have been like, the second he pulled that gun, we're done. Like, our friendship is over. Like, you put my reputation.
This dude literally gives him what, $30?
Yeah,
to pay off Michael just a little bit out of $2,000 that he somehow negotiates down from 3 to 2, right?
Yeah. If and $20 is that much, think about how much that 1,000 was in 1973. I know,
right?
And
then dipshit fucking Johnny Boy spends 20 of the dollars, man.
Yeah, on rounds to drinks.
Yeah. And he's already got a big tab and a little tab at Tony's bar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man. What about you, Fable? What's the performance you want to highlight?
I'm gonna take 3. Since Delaney took 2, I'm gonna take 3.
You know, I still got to come up, so you better slow the fuck up, Fable.
I'll take one. Y'all wouldn't have really minor character. You probably wouldn't have went with, but I'll highlight Michael, because I particularly like the scene in the beginning of the movie. He's like, God, this is some German lenses over here. Like, he's like, these ain't German lenses, this is Jap lenses. And it's not a lens, it's an attachment. He's like, oh, it's an attachment. Like, fuck.
That's the best freeze frame little fucking title card. And when he goes, Jap adapters?
Michael,
That was an awesome scene. I love that scene.
And it does show you that, like, Michael is somebody who is, like, trying. Maybe he's like new at that level in the mafia or whatever the fuck it is, right? But like, he's not there yet. He doesn't have the
I'm gonna take his leg, I'm gonna tie it to that Chevy over there, and then take his other leg, tie it to over there, and boom.
Oh, so you're gonna rip him in half? Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
like Johnny Boy may be Michael's first like time where he has to actually like lay down the law.
Step up and do
It
something.
seems like
Exactly.
Prove
Which
And
is
that's,
cool.
and
Nice
that's
guy
his boy.
until he's
That's
not.
his boy.
Yep.
Because what do you call it? Charlie tells him like, oh, you're gonna charge that much interest on the guy from the neighborhood. So obviously they grew up together, all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, they're all friends.
But I'm gonna also highlight the fat guy.
A fat guy.
The fat
Yeah,
guy, bartender guy.
You
yeah.
motherfucker. The dude who gets in a fight with him, who punches that
Bro.
fucking dude. Fuck you. That was my pick, asshole. God damn
How
it.
did none of us
Well-
call anybody a mook in the intro? I'm just saying. That,
What's a mook? What's a mook?
I think we were afraid it sounds like a racial slur. We're not touching the mook. Sorry.
Call me a
I'll
mook.
let you, go crazy on him. But I just like when he punches the guy in the beginning, and then later he calms down. Let's all have drinks, and then he fucking punches him again. I'm like, that's some Scorsese shit right there.
Yeah.
That's the genesis of some Scorsese.
That's
shit
by
right
the
there.
way, that's
But yeah.
gotta be the best real bar fight scene I've ever seen. That's
No
how
shit,
bar
man.
Dude, I love the camera like just following DeNiro getting fucked up like all around, like all four corners of that motherfucker. It's so good.
Oh, and shout out to Scorsese's mother for being in the movie too. She was
Yeah.
You
she was
gonna
the
take
one
all of
helping.
them,
I'm
goddamn
sorry.
it?
I'm sorry. You did 3. Good job. Good job.
Who
Well,
was she? I missed
between
it.
Fable's 3 and Jelani's fucking 2,
Who
I
was
still
didn't
got
take anybody
still
out
got
with a
one.
ticket.
I want to talk
Scorsese's
about.
mom
I took
came up
2
when
that
when
I would
homegirl was
never
having
see.
she was having the epileptic fit. She came up and she was the one on the stairwell.
Oh, okay.
She was also in Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. I know.
Yeah,
her
when
as
she
that.
fed him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's in every
Once you've seen her in
Scorsese film
Goodfellas,
until
yeah.
she passed away, right? So,
Yeah.
all right, I'm really proud that my actual favorite performance in this film has been left alone. Harvey Keitel as Charlie, y'all. Harvey Keitel is amazing. And here's what's crazy. Some of his, y'all may not know this, some of his like what is it called? I guess like narration, like that over-the-top dialogue, right?
It's Scorsese, isn't it?
Some of that is Martin Scorsese.
I can
right?
tell, man, right off the bat. Like the very when it opens and he's doing the narration, I'm like,
But the
that's
reason why he
Scorsese.
does that is because this is a very personal film. Like this is Marty talking about his childhood.
Wait, shut me off.
This is him talking about growing up, his friends, what life was like for him till he figured out a way out, right? And I love Harvey Keitel in this film. I love Who's That Knocking at My Door. I do. It's not near as good as this film. It's not Scorsese's best film, but like you can see that film and how it evolves into this one. And you can see how Mean Streets evolves into things like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver, how that evolves into like Casino and Goodfellas, how that evolves into things like The Departed and The Irishman. And even The Wolf at Wall Street, which I've still never seen. The only Scorsese film I've never seen. But I love Harvey Keitel so much in this movie. He is tasked with playing the balance of someone who is like Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, but at the same time still kind of hooked in by the Catholic Church, right? Just a little bit. We'll talk about this with the style and structure. Let's move on. Style and structure of the film. Style is amazing. It is Martin Scorsese before Martin Scorsese knew who he even fucking was. It's all there. The importance of the music, we'll get to that, of course, but the importance of the montage, the gliding camera, introducing characters moving like this, the use of visceral and brutal violence in the midst of something poetic and nuanced. This is something we will see from Martin Scorsese in his entire career. We continue to see this. I was hyping up Michael Mann for his first film, already encapsulating everything that was him. Marty had a different journey. It took his third fucking film, his first big one, and this one made like Spike Lee recognizes this as one of the most influential films of his life. Woody Allen recognizes this. In fact, most New York filmmakers of the 70s and 80s cite this movie as being a big deal. And it is a big deal. Structure, because the style is there. Structure. Does this really have a clean narrative? 1, 2, 3 acts? Maybe even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 acts. No, it doesn't. Scorsese says this himself. This is not, Scorsese says, I don't feel like this is a film. I don't feel like this is a movie. This isn't a story. This is a way into the way of life at this time in this particular neighborhood. It has a documentarian type style. That's why he starts it with the documentarian type stuff, taking photos, taking home videos, right? And you see, if you go back and rewatch this, if you go back and rewatch that opening of the film when like, she might be my baby, the Ronettes are coming up, Be My Baby, right? You got that shit coming up. If you look at all of the quote unquote B-roll of the opening, like the home video footage, that is straight up telling you already who these people are, their dynamics, and their relationships. He's doing so much with so fucking little in this movie. It's already, Marty, it's already on my radar. I love this film. I think the style and the structure are damn near perfect. I love the fucking ending. Y'all know how much I love Coen Brothers and how much I love Coen Brothers movies that just fucking end. Whether it's the tornado at the end of Serious Man, right? Or the way No Country for Old Men ends, right? With Lewin's death, right? Oh. Things happen and then we deal with it. I dare all of y'all look at Do the Right Thing and tell me you don't see the Mean Streets influence. Right? This movie is influential. And one of the most influential films of Martin Scorsese is his third film. And his first film where people really noticed him. I think the style is all there. It will be perfected. I think the structure is there for what it is, but even structure and story will be perfected. What about you, Jelani? Style and structure of Mean Streets. What do you think?
Style, it reeks New York. It reeks New York to a level in the 70s where New York was gritty and dirty and the streets were terrible. And I'm sure the garbage men were on strike. And it was one of those cities where it was its own character. And it shows in this because like gunshots are fired and it's the cliche where gunshots are fired and you hear the cops. That's the next step. You know, they're like, gunshot, put the siren on. You know, it already does that feeling of New York City where Johnny Boy is just outside shooting a gun for no reason. And, you know, because he's nuts. Like, this should not be your friend. Like, if your friend is acting like a lunatic, I wouldn't chase him down. I'd just be like,
what about when he's all like, I'm sorry, lady, I didn't mean to shoot that gun through your window.
I fucking hate that lady. Yeah.
I love that his opening scene is him like putting a firecracker in a mailbox.
Right, and blowing up. Yeah.
That was Johnny Boy's intro.
That's all he's known for. Just he's a complete fuck up. And it shows so well in the way it's shot and the way it's composed, all those things. All right, style. Structure. It's a muddled mess until the third act, until I know what's going on. For me, it was so hard. And I only watched it once, Verno. Okay, yeah. Just letting you know, I watched it one time. I've got 48 hours left, so I mean a little bit more time left. So I can probably watch it again because I got to rent all damn Robbie's movies now. Anyway, that's just one of the things. I'm not mad at you, Robbie. I'm mad at your choice.
I own them all on Blu-ray.
Yeah, so. I know. But it's muddled to the third act. It's so like it's a smattering of scenes. They're good scenes, and it feels like he just made a study of one scene. This scene is this, and then this scene will go to this, and then we'll have a bar fight. and then we do this, and this is a day in the life of a guy that we're doing, and he's got friends, they're fuck ups too, they all fuck up. But then the third act happens, and it's like, now we know what's going on. Now we know the impact of it. Johnny Boy is a complete fuck up. He's been disrespecting Michael this entire trip. And Charlie is the one trying to broker a friendship between the two and get the money back, which I don't know how he was going to try to accomplish this. Why in the world would I try to get give $3,000 of a vig because it went up that high? Michael was kind of unreasonable in that factor, but at the same time, he was getting pushed. And when you get pushed and that you've never been pushed before, you have to make an example of something.
Let's say he just got made or just got given these new opportunities, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it makes him look like a chump. Makes him look like a mook.
What's a fucking mook?
What's a mook?
I looked it up. I forget what it said.
What is it, man? What is it?
It was like, I'll fuck. You know what? I'll look it up.
A piece of shit is what it's gonna say, right?
It's a gabagoo.
It's a person regarded with contempt, a foolish person. So I would say Johnny Boy. I guess
that is insulting.
Johnny Boy's a bit of a mook.
Johnny Boy is totally a mook, man. Wait, here's something I want to say. 2 movies that are most directly influenced by this movie are not what you would think. Amy Eckerling's Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused.
I could see that.
Both of those movies, admittedly, heavily influenced by this movie. Do you see that, Jelani?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
I understand. It's slice of life. It's goofy. It's got scenes that smather into other scenes. It does what it wants to do for film. It's a competent film. I'm not saying it's not.
Throw Friday in there with those other two.
Friday.
I don't know if he knows that he was
Friday.
Gotta get it in there, baby.
Friday's my favorite comedy of all time. So
same.
So favorite, we've covered it twice, Jelani.
Covered it twice.
Easy. I've never seen a guy. I gotta go back.
Dude, it was our second PCP movie night. Was like that one, man.
And third.
Fuck. Yeah.
No, we maybe like 333rd, but like,
and then we'll do 20 like blood sports. We're gonna do blood sport every year. But it's still like I said, it's still an okay film. It's composed well. It is a film. It is short. It drips New York. It shows New York in that time period. It's really gorgeous. I do want to make one other thing about. Teresa was almost gonna get it until she was mad. She was mean to that maid, that black maid. Which, by the way, all the black. I'm sorry.
What was that about? That was ridiculous, bro.
She's mean for no reason. Meaning she's done it before. And like, if you're sweet and sexy and naked half of the time, and like you begin to like her as a person, and she gets epileptic seizures, but then she's a fucking bitch to the help. I cannot stand that shit. You have to be, look, if you're going to be, and by the way, Scorsese portrays it perfectly. It's the duality of people. People can be sweet and kind and some stuff, and then they're mean to others.
Right.
And it's like I dislike people. Working in the customer service and some other things, I really dislike people. You guys are all right. In our audience, you guys are all right. But people, stupid fuckers, I hate stupid fuckers. I hate them. But to be mean, just to be mean, no, we don't. And that shows character, your character. So like, I've served tables before, and if I served, people have been really nice to me and tipped me well. People have made me do special orders for them, and they tip me well. But if you run me to death and give me nothing or $1 or some change or some shit, that's mean. That's not where you're supposed to be after someone has provided service for you. At a buffet, no. I'm trying to get to this point. If you see, like if you're on a date with someone and the date is mean to the help in any way, that shows your character. That shows who you are as a person. It does.
Deal breaker.
Because it's how you You want to treat others how you want to be treated.
She's a blatant racist.
Like, she's a blatant racist.
I was about to be like
she's like, I hate shit like that. It's like, bitch, what are you talking about?
Like,
I was about to say, I dated a woman once, and Jelani, you've heard this story. I'm sure Brooks has too. I was dating this woman once, and everything was going fine. And then we had a conversation one day about how she felt like, as a white woman, she was able to say the N-word anytime she wanted, and I was like,
drop that bitch.
Well, fuck. I guess she'll never suck my dick again. But
maybe one more time.
But that's Scorsese puts that in all his movies when he talks about the Italian community from back in those days, because
they're racist.
You know, when they talked about Michael liking his girl and then she kissed a black guy, and that kind of made him not want to mess with her.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time,
what about Charlie?
At the same time, Keitel.
Yeah, Charlie
was going to date that girl, but
he has feelings for the stripper, and he kind of hide it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, you better go out with that girl. Don't
it's
nobody
crazy
on this side of town.
Because I heard Scorsese say in the interview, they first showed this at some film festival or whatever, and like his parents were there, and they came out of the theater, and all the reporters, they were in the lobby, and all the reporters came to his parents, and the first thing his mother said was, "I just want you to know we never allowed that word in the house, not once ever." Like, she was
talking about
adamant about that.
You talking about Mook?
I'm not. Yeah. Exactly.
You're a mook.
I really hope.
Mook she was just like adamant about it.
It's not, I promise.
All right.
You could tell, I thought it had like negative Italian connotation.
I think the same things about Jamaican Jamoke, but it turns out it's fine. It's fine.
Italians at this point can be perceived as being very racist in film, but it's probably because of the way that they were also like handled themselves in American history,
machismo,
right?
Well,
there was a thing like there's a reason why the word. I'm not talking about a wet ass pussy right now, but there's another word that's similar to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are words that like, even amongst it's so crazy. Even white people can be racist towards one another. It's so fucking weird, dude. But it just goes to show you, love one another. Love one another unless you're a Johnny boy. Speaking of the Johnny boy on the crew, it's Verno. It totally is, and we know it, man. You've self-destructed so many times. But we still love you. We're still here for you. This is way better than last Friday's like segues that I did. What do you think about the what are we on? Style and structure?
Style and structure. I had to look at it. What the fuck are we doing right now? I mean, we've all hit on we've echoed some of my thoughts on the structure, and I agree with a lot of what you guys says. I will just to clarify my point on the ending. I don't give a fuck that it ends. I don't have a problem with it just ending. I like when movies do that. I just specifically wanted, and it ties in with the themes, but everything he goes through, I think it would have been cooler just to kill Harvey Keitel. That's my only beef with it. It should have led to his death rather than, I hurt my arm. It's not enough. It just wasn't enough for me. The stakes.
Where does he get shot? Where does he get shot, man?
In the arm.
In the arm.
No, in his hand.
Oh, okay.
What is he always touching? What is he always touching?
Oh shit.
Oh, okay.
He's always trying to feel how close. He's always feeling how close he can get to hell.
He's playing with fire. Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. That's cool. The as far as the style goes, like I said, like right off the bat, it's all these Scorsese-isms. Like one of the most famous Scorsese scenes in Goodfellas when they're following what's his face into the club, right? There's a lot of that. There's like he does it for like 5 seconds in here where he's following Harvey Keitel, and he does it again later. But it's just like you see where he took these ideas, these things that he likes, and he's like found out better ways to use them later. But the other thing we've mentioned the bar fight. And I love that too. I love his use of the camera, right? This is what I was thinking. You hear people say this about Hitchcock, all the greats, is that they use the camera with intent. They don't just like, this would be a cool idea and I'll use it here. They use it here because it works here. Now, when the camera is flying all around during the fight, like we all noticed that documentary style, it's all over the place. But then right afterwards, when everything's calm, then it's on rails. And not only that, the way that all the people are lined up orderly in a row. And I just thought that was such a cool way to go from chaos to calmness and order. And like you're seeing it with not only like the composition and where everyone's lined up and the blocking, but like with the smooth camera on rails. And that's just indicative of what he's doing throughout the whole film. Like everything is like with intent. And he's a master. He is like a genius. One of the best of all time.
Absolutely. Speaking of geniuses and the best of all time, Stu knows a lot of geniuses and best of all time.
All right.
He covers a lot of great comedy.
I got my hopes up for that one, you fucking asshole.
What do you think about the style and structure, Stu?
The fucking mook.
Yeah, man. Style, it is like we've already said. It is that, like, all those early Hallmark Scorsese films, man. Just from the music and the opening scene and how it, like, we see Tony kicking the guy out for using heroin in the bathroom. It feels so authentic and so real. And yeah, like, just the use of cinematography, the use of red, like that tracking shot when DeNiro's character shows up and we get that close up of Harvey Keitel. For me, dude, my favorite shot is Harvey being super drunk and with the steady cam on his torso. Oh shit! Is my
what the fuck just happened, man?
What is going on?
Oh, did like a shuffle.
No shit.
Is that my internet or no?
Who's moving around with the fucking cameras?
I don't know, but I'm
this
trying to get us back.
StreamYard's being a mook, I'll tell you that.
StreamYard, you're a fucking mook. That's our new bit for 2025. It's calling each other mooks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that shot when Harvey's drunk, it looks like that still feels fresh today. You know what I mean? And so I agree with what Jelani said. Jelani, I'm sorry. God, I went back to episode 1.
Right? You took it back. You took it back.
You fell into the rabbit hole. I fell into the rabbit hole.
You'll live.
Yeah. The structure was all over the fucking place for me, and like we picked up one thing and dropped it, and we had so many great scenes, right? Like one of my favorite scenes is when they dip off into the graveyard and have that conversation. But then what were they trying to say about the fucking party up there in the building? Like, what the? I don't know. I felt like
you know what
was going on with that? Tell me.
My interpretation of that was because that was a Spanish party, right?
Yeah.
Another cultural thing. New York is full of cultures, right? So everybody's separated and together at the same time. So I think when he was looking at that party, he was looking at the similarities between that culture and his own. Like there was no difference. Like that's why he smiled. Like, oh, they go through the same shit we go through. That looks like a party I would have been at or that I go to. You know, that's what I got from it.
Yeah,
Harvey looking at it.
That feels real, absolutely. But I love that little brief moment of like respite and like those two talking to each other and that conversation. So like, yeah, the style is A1 for me. The structure could have used a little work, and I think that's something he got worked out in later films. But
yeah, like maybe like his next films, like Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore and Taxi Driver. That's pretty fucking dope, right?
So what came after this one? What was his next one?
I think it was Alice,
that Alice one, yeah. Is that like a gangster movie?
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Right.
No,
okay.
Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore is actually the movie that inspired the sitcom Alice in the 80s. So
cool. Okay.
Yeah. No, Chris Christopherson, Ellen Burstyn, such a good movie.
That's a great
Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and New York is another movie. That's his attempt to do a musical in his own style. Pretty fucking awesome. Brooks, what do you think about the style and structure of Mean Streets, though?
Oh, like it has the Scorsese style, very gritty. Like I really like that. But like I disagree that this movie has like a muddled third act or whatever. Like I think this movie is the way it is because it's kind of like like I was saying, when you watch a gangster movie like The Godfather, it's about Michael's rise. So it's like he starts out here and and then later on but it's like it covers a more expansive time period, whereas this movie is more like it's like a day, it's like or like a week, it's like a more compressed period of time. So it's like it's not all the big things happening, it's like a bunch of little things, and like that's what I really like about it. And like it has a lot of there are a few things that like if you look deeper, like that you can really there's like little references like the whole thing with the lion, where they refer to him as a tiger. and they mentioned the William Blake at one point. Like there's they talk about William Blake, and in the poem The Tiger, there's a line is what the hand dare touch the fire, and how Charlie's always putting his hand in fires. So it's like there's I think there's more to this movie. Like if you look at it a little deeper, and that's what I really liked about it. I really did. I really saw a lot in this movie that I thought was really cool and it, meaningful. It's very much a commentary on like the human condition in a lot of ways, and I think with gangster movies, like one thing I've noticed is like gangster like mobs and stuff are kind of like just boys clubs. It's just a bunch of dudes that like to hang out together, and they do crimes. But other than that, they basically are just a bunch of boys getting together and raising hell.
They just murder people. Yeah,
they do cry. I mean, sure.
I can see Brooks standing up to a bike gang in a bar
and shoot him in the face and in the neck.
Y'all are just a big boys club.
Yeah.
All right, Fable. Speaking of boys clubs, what do you think about the style and structure of the film?
Well, style. I mean, this movie. First of all, just because Brooks brought it up, I thought Tony was gonna totally make love to that lion. I don't know if you got caught that.
It got weird. It got weird.
That was fucking weird. But anyway,
Wow.
Style. It's great. New York, 1970s. It was a fucking total ashtray. It was disgusting. Like everything is so nasty in this movie. The floors, the walls, everything's disgusting. I'm surprised we didn't see roaches and shit running around.
Yeah.
And of course everything that he takes. Vern said it earlier, walking through the bar. The little title introductions. It was like, oh, here's Tony, and this is Charlie, and this is Johnny Boy, and stuff like that. So style, even though it's not as refined as a Goodfellas, it's still great. It's still the beginnings of it. And I can dig that. Structure, I can dig an and then kind of thing, like Verna was saying earlier, the and then. But what makes it meandering at times is like things like what Stu said, like all of a sudden, we're in the lion, and then we're over here. One of the things that Goodfellas does, because everybody in this movie is a degenerate. And I mean, everybody's a fucking degenerate. Like, and there's really no redeemable person. Maybe Charlie to an extent. There's no real redeemable person. And there's no real redeemable person in Goodfellas. But I feel like Goodfellas makes you fall in love with those assholes. You know what I'm saying? In a way where you can take their and then and keep going and be like, yeah, I want to see what they do next. Yeah, I want to see what Joe Pesci does next. I want to see what Rob DeNiro in that movie does next. I know we talked about how great the performance is, but I don't feel like it gives me that. I just feel like these douchebags. What's the point? What's going on here? Just like everybody kind of said, like, where are we going with this? Like, what's going on? And then we get it, and it was like, then it ends. So structure, I get it. Also, some themes don't carry over. Like, I would like to see more narration. The narration really cuts off at the first third of the movie, and the fire burning stuff. Yeah, he does that, but he only does it once or twice, maybe 3 times. And again, towards the beginning of the movie, I like to see some of that carry over to where it means something. But I get on, like Brooks said, second, third watches, you can pick up on more. And I get a feeling that if I watch this 2 or 3 times, I will pick up on more. So structure is a little, but style is great, fantastic.
All right, I agree. Let's talk about the music. There is no score in this movie. It is basically like what we've learned. Martin Scorsese likes to score his films with his record collection. In this one, he literally does that. Every track you hear is pulled directly from his record collection. That's why you hear the pops in the music and shit like that, right? 2 Rolling Stone songs. You got the Charts, you got the Paragons, the Marvelettes, Betty Everett, you got the Chips, the Nutmegs, the Chantels, Cream. But to me, man, there's not a greater musical moment than at the beginning of the film. When you hear the bum, From the night we first that Ronette,
that
Be
song
My
is just
Baby.
fucking fantastic.
And
dude.
I swear Marty's used that like multiple times.
Goodfellas, man. Hell yeah, he put that
Yeah,
in
it's
there.
in Goodfellas.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this is a prototype for Goodfellas, right? That's what it is, man. And half the budget was spent for that music. Blew me away, man. The music is used so well. And tell me another filmmaker in 1973 making his first third movie, but with no money, procuring all of this, like how important the music was. Because Marty said, "This is my life. These were my friends. This is how we grew up, my neighborhood, and my music. We choose the music that makes the themes of our lives." And Marty's been stuck there since 1973. What about you, Jelani? What do you think about the music of the film? I fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, once again, like this movie, it's okay. It suits where it needs to be. I love all the music. I love Be My Baby. Be My Little Baby. I mean, that brings me back to Dirty Dancing for some reason, because I watched it a lot as a kid. And it triggered me for that, and so it gives you every song invokes a feeling, and you can tell that Scorsese knew that. He knew he was going to make a film where it was going to be the soundtrack of his life, and he wanted to share that with us. And it's it's good. It's good. I think Goodfellas is slightly better. You're right, Fable.
He had more money, man.
Way more money. Plenty of time to get that better. But
technology.
True.
Cameras improved, rails improved, all that shit.
Yeah.
All that Goodfellas was like 20 years later, y'all, right? So
yeah. It was good though. It was the music was good.
Hell yeah. What do you think, Verno?
I'm sitting here looking up right now because I read some stuff earlier. This is like one of the most respected films of all time. It was Entertainment Weekly voted it as the 7th greatest film of all time.
Yep.
This was put in 1997. The
but Entertainment Weekly is kind of like a backlog, so it's like it counts less than a you dig, like than a you dig, but like
Well, I'm saying this is another the film was selected for preservation in the United States National Film.
You're a fucking jerk off, Fable. That's what I've always thought about you.
I'm just saying, with the issues that I had with it, as far as it being it's one of the most important films ever. I think that's what film critics and stuff like that, because of the influence of it. But anyway, the music, I always think about the Layla in Goodfellas, where it's I think of that, and I've heard people say oh, Martin Scorsese was the one that introduced the idea of juxtaposing what you're hearing with what you're seeing. Have something really nasty and really violent on the screen, put beautiful, happy music behind it. Mm-hmm. And this, as soon as the movie starts, oh, he was doing it from the get-go. He did it right away. When we're talking about the fight scene at the pool hall, I think it's Mr. Postman playing there, and it's that is indicative of what he does with the rest of his career. And not only him, but then Tarantino, everybody does it now. You see it constantly, all the time. It's rare that you see it the other way around. Where the music
if you listen to Marty talk about film, it's the same way that you hear Quentin talk about film, right? It really, really is, dude. And that's a part of us. How many times have we seen? Oh, there was a dude over there that got their ass beat at this event, but they were also playing All Around the World.
There's a Dave Chappelle. There's a Dave Chappelle joke about getting pulled over and not turning down the radio. It's bitch, I don't want to get my ass whooped to a soundtrack. Turn it down. That's it. That's what I got.
Oh hell yeah! What do you think, Stu, about the music, man?
Yeah, man. You guys said it all. I mean, nobody, like you said, Robbie, nobody was doing this at that time, putting these, songs and sounds of the time, juxtaposed against these incredible moments in cinema. And nobody does.
Can you just imagine that conversation, Stu, where Marty's how much money we got to put up to get 3 Rolling Stones songs?
Seriously, it had to be. I would love to see that that invoice and like what they had to pay for each song. That would be a great. They need to include that in a silver book or a Blu-ray, fucking whatever.
Yeah, on a
metal case. Yeah,
on a $650,000 budget, apparently 300,000 of that was the music.
Wow.
But also I love how we get the operatic, like Italian music. Like, you know, Scorsese also said this in the interview. Like, he wanted to include the songs of his childhood, and he said, you might not know them by name or specifically like what they are, but you know them when you hear them. And I feel like, especially when the three of them are in that car together and Keitel singing that song, you know what I mean? There's that brief sense of victory, like they've gotten out and they're going to get away for a minute. And I don't know. I feel like that does so much to tie everything together throughout the film, and something you see on display, I think done better in like Godfather Part 2 and stuff like that. But also, you know, I think it starts here. Coppola and Scorsese really take this aesthetic and really grow it, and these are the seeds of it. And here and then Godfather 1.
I love that you say that, because Coppola was a big fan of Martin Scorsese, and Coppola didn't want to do Godfather 2 and told Paramount, you should get Martin Scorsese to do it.
Wow.
That's
So I feel like there's a lot of Marty influence on Francis Ford Coppola's work. Right?
Yeah.
Like there really fucking is, especially with the like the Italian operatic quality
Yeah.
of the soundtrack. Yeah, dude. Because we know what we know what we're fucking talking about. Godfather 2 is influenced by Martin Scorsese.
Dude, like
100%.
the scene in Godfather 2 when DeNiro's walking, I forget the guy's name, but he assassinates Don Fanucci or whatever the fuck his name is. Oh my God, that's like one of the best scenes in cinematic history. And it's just nothing but that Italian parade music, and it's so epic.
And also, we haven't really talked about that, but like the idea of the saint parades and the importance into this film. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a big thing over here. That everybody knows about that one. That parade and the way they used it here, they use it in Godfather 2, they use it in a few movies that as a setting for these things. It's very important.
That's
Fuck
cool.
yeah, it is.
Man.
Speaking of very important, Brooks is slightly important here at PCP. What do you think about the music in the film, my man? Did you notice it?
Yeah, I did notice it. And I like it. I mean, it's just like it is. That those songs are like very reminiscent of that era, and I think that it works. You know, because when you make a movie with like kind of a mixtape or a playlist kind of soundtrack, it can work really well or it cannot work really well. And I think in this case it works really well. I think it embodies, like, you know, it captures the time. You know, it kind of like lets you know, in a more subtle way, like this is the point of time but this movie is taking place. This is the kind of music these guys would be listening to,
Yeah.
And like, there's good songs on here too, like I'm surprised they didn't put Sinatra song on here though.
Yeah.
They could not afford Sinatra, I guarantee you. They could afford 2 Rolling Stone songs. They're not affording Sinatra. But this is what I'm saying. Like, so I mentioned that like 2 of the biggest movies that were influenced by this movie were Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Dazed and Confused. Look at those soundtracks.
Yeah, Dazed and Confused especially.
Dazed and Confused and Fast Times. Like, those are soundtracks that encapsulate a period of time, right?
What's that Guy Ritchie movie that we did a few months back? Lockstock. That's another one where it's like a slice of life, where it's not a day, but it's like a few days, and you're getting little glimpses of the
Scorsese even says like this is a movie that takes place over a few days, over this parade, over this saint celebration, but really it's 5 years of a life is what it is, right? That's what Dazed is. That's what Fast Times is, right? Like, this movie is more influential to things like Clerks than even Goodfellas at times, if that makes sense, right? And the music is a big part of that. What do you think, Fable, about the music?
I love that Stu mentioned that car scene at the end, because I was stuck on that too. I was feeling like I was feeling like that was like Scorsese's parents
Yeah, man.
versus him, right? Like the old music from the old country versus the current groove or whatever, the current bop or whatever it is. I love that. Yeah, dude, I think the music is fantastic. Like you said, Be My Baby starting this movie off. I was like, oh shit, Goodfellas. Right away. Like right away. It hit me like, damn. This
Just
is
the
where
way
he
it
got all
starts
this
with
shit
that
from.
pop, pop,
Yeah.
pop, pop,
This is where he get all this shit from.
pop. Oh my god.
And I know you say that it influenced those Days and Confused in those movies, but I think it influenced the entire 80s because before 80s, they were doing scores and, you know, traditional orchestra sound. And then everything in the 80s was a song. Everything, every freaking movie from the 80s had some sort of fucking of the day song. They just not as brilliant as Scorsese at doing it, you know, but without Scorsese doing this, you don't get like Guardians of the Galaxy, man, the first movie. Like, you know what I mean? The soundtrack to that movie was a killer soundtrack that fit the same way. So,
Oh yeah.
no, man, I think it's a great soundtrack, and it definitely influential more than just those two films. I think a whole decade or 2 decades of movies at least.
And
I'm
let's
looking
give.
sorry, American Graffiti came out this same year, and I can't remember, but I feel like that movie has a lot of the, you know, it's like a soundtrack movie too.
Same type thing, like Lucas and Coppola and Scorsese and Spielberg. They were in that same crew, right? They were like the Brooks. What's the name of the group that like C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were a part of?
The Inklings.
They're like the Inklings of 70s cinema, right? Those dudes, right? So, yeah, I let us not. I just got to, once again, my final thought about the music is this. Martin Scorsese wanted to make a very personal film about his life. And in hindsight, he says, it's less about my life and more about the life of my father, right? His father was that dude. He was Harvey Keitel his entire life. He's the dude picking up payments. Because Marty says, my dad told me very early on, never take a favor from anybody else. Because then you're going to owe them for the rest of your life, right? But for Marty wanting to make such a personal film, not only to pick the music that would have been on his Discman, Walkman, iPod, Spotify, whatever you want to call it, his playlist, he literally used, like, they didn't pay for this music and then get the recording from the company. They pulled the recording from his record collection. So when you hear those like vinyl pops and static like little crackles, that's very authentic. And it's one of the most authentic movies in Scorsese's career, in my opinion. Time to talk about what the movie means to us. I got some thoughts, but Jelani, why don't you kick us off? What is Mean Streets saying to you?
With friends like these, who needs enemies? These people are they're deplorables. They're not the best. You know what I'm saying? They're not the best humans. And even when you're like, I liked how everyone was like, you're my friend. You're my friend. I like you. You're my friend. But I mean, really? Were you? Is this what this is? Like the guy getting the payment in the ensues the bar fight. When you get the bar fight involved and like this guy's their friend and he didn't want to pay him or something. I don't know what happened for him to be like, you're a mook, and then punch him in the face. I mean, it's just.
They didn't want to get pushed around.
You know, yeah. So, you know, it's all this backing up, and it's always, like I said before, it's always this machismo. It's this I gotta, you know, puff my chest up to show how awesome I am, to do these things, and I do these things. And that's what Johnny Boy's mistake was. He thinks that, I don't know what he thinks, to be honest. I mean, I don't understand why he wouldn't just like, hey, I'll give you installments. Hey, I'll pay you back, and actually do it and actually be that person, but then continue to borrow money. There are a lot of just holes in it to where, why would you have friends like this? and then these friends turn on you at the drop of a hat, that pull a gun on you at a drop of a hat. Like it's nothing to them. There is no friendship. There is you're just out here. You just out here thinking. You just out here being.
We really out here.
You're foolish. You out here in these mean streets. In these streets.
There you go.
So that's all I got.
What about you, Verno? What are you thinking?
I mean, the big thing is Jelani, you mentioned it. The trying to save people that can't be saved or that don't want to be saved or all that. There's the other big one of like living for yourself. Because like, what's he want? He wants to bang his neighbor and he wants to bang this black chick. It's like, well, bang your neighbor, the black chick. Quit worrying about what everybody else wants. Just do you. So there's that. But the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't even know. It's not like a big thing, but I thought to me, it was a poignant scene. I don't know if it ties in with the rest of the movie much, but there's the moment where DeNiro's up on the roof and he's fucking around with the gun. And then, first of all, nobody calls the cops while he's shooting a gun. Then he lights a firework. It's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. That's hilarious. Like, why was that? Why is that?
Fireworks are illegal in New York
That's
City.
also like, Scorsese said they were shooting. De Niro was shooting on a rooftop in L.A. and like somehow they made that work with like the shots of the Empire State Building. But like all those shots on the rooftop are from L.A., which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah,
that is cool. But the thing that I noticed about it, like, why does Johnny say he's doing it? He's saying I'm trying to wake these fucking people up. Everyone's sleeping. It's boring. Everything's boring out here. And then afterwards, like Harvey Keitel looks up and he sees there's a party going on now. Like, you guys notice that? Like, he looks up, there's these people up there fucking having a good time and partying. Like, it worked. Johnny's plan worked. So I think it's not like this running theme throughout the whole movie, but it's saying something about like the world needs agents of chaos. Because that's why he doesn't pay his fucking debts, is because he's the Joker. He's a Joker character. He's an agent of chaos in the movie. But you need those. Like, that helps. It spices things up. You got to throw some chaos into things to get things shaken up every now and then. So that's not the theme of the whole movie, but it was something that I thought was cool that I could pull out.
Hell yeah. What about you, Stu? What's the movie speaking to you?
Man, Verno's tripping. Don't let that motherfucker in your car because you're gonna get shot at. Like, that's what I was saying. Cut off those negative people in your life and keep it pushing. Is what I'm saying. Man.
I said that too.
I know you did. But I'm saying, like, yeah, I think what all of y'all said is valid. Like, there's so many themes of out with the old and in with the new in this movie. Whether these folks want to accept that reluctantly or not, but to me, at the end of the day, that's what it's ultimately about. I think he's stuck in the attraction to the flame and getting burnt and all that, and that sometimes in life you got to get burnt to learn your lesson. And so this is one of those for our boy Harvey. What's his name? Charlie. Yeah, for Charlie.
Yeah, they did a sequels miniseries to this movie, which was called Charles in Charge. Do you remember that?
Yeah, see the influence.
Charlie and the Mook Factory. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
All right, Brooks, what's this movie speaking to you, man?
Well, it's kind of a sub theme. I think this movie is that kind of runs through it. Is this idea of like societal restraints, and how like we think about the kind of gangster life, the outlaw life is like they're the freest you can be. They do whatever they want, but like he's still like it does show like in various points throughout the movie that there's also restraints on that as well. Like he sees like a beautiful woman that he's attracted to. But he's like, I can't though, because she's black, and he wants, and even his neighbor, his Johnny Boy's sister, like he wants to be with her, but his uncle's like, her brain's fucked up, he can't be with her, and like the whole honor system amongst the gangsters, like Michael can't let Johnny Boy slide because he has those restraints on him too. He can't afford to look weak. He can't afford to look like he doesn't have the control that he needs to, do what he needs to do. So it's like, it's the idea, like there's always a everything is pretty much a double-edged sword. Like, no matter how much you think somebody looks like their life is free, there's always something. There's always something on the back end. There has to be a kind of alternating force, I guess, to keep things balanced. And it's no different if you're a gangster, if you're like a politician, or just whatever. I did love the line, when he's talking to Mario. Mario's like looking at the TV, watching. He's like, these politicians, they're pathetic. Because it's like he's a politician himself in a way, just like just a different kind, a more crime-oriented politician. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of redundant.
Yeah.
He does crime.
A more blatantly crime politician.
He does do crimes, man. Fable, man. This movie is chock full of interpretations and themes. So I want to know what you sitting on.
I don't know. I get like kind of like Daredevil, the character Daredevil kind of vibes from it. Like how much are you willing to suffer to try to like be the most altruistic, or try to show people the correct path, to the point where you're just suffering yourself, kind of thing. Like, there's something about Johnny Boy that Harvey Keitel obviously sees in himself. And there's probably something about everybody kind of sees in himself, but he knows they're not on the right path or whatever. And he's willing to go through all these lengths to suffer through all this stuff and ultimately not win whatever it is, whatever he's trying to achieve with Johnny Boy, whatever he's trying to achieve in his social ranking and stuff like that. He puts everything on the line for this virtue. I can't really describe it. I can't really articulate it. But he's maybe it is a penance or a self. I don't know. Like he says in the beginning of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he says like repent or
it's
penance. Like when DeNiro first shows up, he says that word.
Right. Like,
it's his way of trying to get redemption.
Right. Yeah. Yes. There you go.
Yes.
That's probably what I'm trying to say more than anything. But he's going through hell for these people in a lot of ways. He's taking on their shit, and he really shouldn't at all. He should do what or I think Jelani said, mess with the girl that he wants to mess with, and own the restaurant that he obviously is gonna own because of his uncle or whatever, like stuff like that. But yeah,
focus on you and don't focus on these outside people.
Well,
all these outside people gonna eat you if you let them.
Yeah, I'm going to second what Hydra Asylum, our buddy Jay, said. Props to you, Fable, for using the Daredevil analogy.
Yeah, man.
Because I mean this, because this is what I think this movie means. This movie to me is about, sometimes every movie that we watch is about what we need it to mean at that time. This movie to me is about guilt and shame and a false sense of responsibility and a path to rectify our guilt and shame. Charlie in this movie is filled with guilt and shame for two reasons. Number one, his religious upbringing. He's got to break away from that, right? But at the same time, he knows that even though Charlie, I would not say is a devout Catholic in this movie, right? But he's dealing with guilt and shame because of that upbringing. But he's also dealing with guilt and shame because he is a piece of shit.
Right.
He's allowing piece of shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so he has taken it on himself with some of the very first lines of dialogue or narration you hear in this movie is about penance is more than words. I want to do it on my own terms, blah, blah, blah. He's touching the fucking fire. We talked about that. He keeps trying to touch the fire closer and closer. He gets his hand fucking blown off. And now he's exorcised from his fucking community. He's ostracized. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gone. It's like he's literally in hell. Hell is more than just physical pain. It's emotional pain, pain of the soul. That's what this movie's about. Pain of the soul, man. It's about a dude who knows too much and knows too little at a very young age, dealing with the direty and the pain of life, right? That's
the
what's going on.
vicissitudes, the ups and downs.
Yeah, go. Just be with the person you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't stick up for the people that are not worth sticking up for. That's a hard lesson to learn, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Daredevil, Johnny Boy has heavy Karen Page vibes. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Big time dead weight, bro.
It's like Robbie said, like he's a piece of shit himself and he knows it. And this is what Johnny Boy is a representation of the piece of shit he sees in himself. But he feels like he could save Johnny Boy in some sort of way. And like somebody said it here, I think Mean Street said, if Charlie saves a soul for his sins, he'll be saved.
Right.
And I think that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, it's not about what I do. It's about how I can judge other people and project my morality on them. But then again, it's about the idea of a morality that's imposed on somebody through their upbringing, right? Here's the thing. Nobody in this movie learns the lesson. The lesson is this: to thy own self be true. Shakespeare was right. Sorry. Just be true to who you are and your core values. If you're a piece of shit, be a piece of shit with no guilt. Johnny Boy's like that. Charlie's not like that. And it's a very personal film for Martin Scorsese because he even says, like, I thought I wanted to be part of the clergy. That's my life. Like, I thought at a certain point I needed to be a preacher. Then I realized there ain't no way Rockin' Robbie, Bill should be a fucking preacher. You know what I'm saying? So let me preach the gospel of something better, like, which is, I don't know, comic books, movies, dope fiction, and being the best version of yourself out there, right? So Charlie is, to me, Martin Scorsese dealing with the guilt and shame that he had to deal with growing up. And that's what it is, man. The guilt and the shame, but the false idea of how to pursue redemption. And I guess the ultimate lesson is, if you have a Johnny Boy in your life, cut it off right the fuck now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right the fuck now. Which is why I'm cutting off Bueller from my life, personally. All right, time to rate the film out of 5 possible you digs. You out there in the chat, what do you give Mean Streets? Jelani, kick us off.
It's not Goodfellas, so I give it a 4. It's a gritty, kind of amateurish Goodfellas in a lot of different ways. It gives that vibe, and I understand now the trilogy of it, but it's mercifully short, so thank you. It's and it's not hard to see that the seeds of fantastic mobster growth happens with this movie. It's one of these ones I'll have to watch again, probably in trilogy form.
Well, you got 48 hours left to do it, so you better get on.
Oh yeah, because I gotta pay for it. Thank you. I'll figure it out, but I'm probably gonna watch it again, so I'll give it a 4, definitely.
Hell yeah, 4 from Jelani. What about you, blood splattered chatter?
Yeah, buddy. I mean, I've been between. If I was to keep it 1,000,000%, like my enjoyment, how much I was like fucking floored by the movie, it would be closer to like a 4. But like knowing its importance and just like looking at it, that was 1973, and to keep it 100, the conversation has been. Look, we've been going an hour and 44. This has been fire in my opinion. So I mean, I'll go a 4.5. I think it's a movie. I was gonna say more people need to watch. More normies need to watch. It needs to be something that's like, I don't know, it needs to be on HBO Max more often rather than just Goodfellas. Throw this on Netflix.
Facts.
Yeah. I know it's not forever people talk about it.
Said, though.
I think more people would watch it.
What did Maddie think about it? I know she's no longer with us, but
she was into it. She fell asleep last night during some of the more gnarly parts. I went to cover her eyes up. She was between my legs, and then oh wait, she's sleeping. So I put her down.
Hell yeah. What about you, Stu? What do you rate this film?
I'm right there with Vern. Vern said everything I was going to say, man. I was coming into this with like a 4.25, but this conversation and just looking at this from a historical standpoint and what it, the seeds of Scorsese that we see in this film, it's a 4.5 for me.
Hell yeah. I like that. What about you, Brooks? Where are you sitting?
Yeah, I give it a 4.5 too. Like, I think on my initial watch, I probably would have given it a 4, but on the rewatch, I think I appreciated it a little more the second time because I'd learned like the first watching, I didn't quite know the characters. So when I watched it the second time, knowing like who was who and what everybody was about, I think made it a little better. So yeah, it's a great movie. Like I really loved it, and definitely one that I would want to rewatch.
Our brother from New York. What is up, Fable? What do you think about this New York filmmaker? Very first opus, Mean Streets. What do you rate
it? Much like Vern, if I was gonna just come into this with just raw, I saw it and did it floor me, stuff like that, I probably would have went 375 or 369, something like that. But I agree, this conversation totally elevated my thinking of the themes and what was going on in this movie. Because, like I told you, the first thing that drew me to it, besides all the other stuff, is what Harvey Keitel goes through. I could relate to it. You know what I mean? So, and then with all the conversation we had, it was just even more apparent. So I'm gonna say 4.25. This movie is absolutely it must be watched more than once, I think. And I did watch it twice. I did do a Verna. I forgot to mention that. Because the first time I saw it, I was just like, okay. But I felt like I was missing something. So I watched it again, and I was like, okay. But still wasn't like, oh, my God. I'm still like good.
You weren't like, okay.
Yeah. I'm still like the Casino is just way superior. But all the seeds are here, like Stu said. And like you guys said, it's so. I could imagine. You ever seen that skit on SNL where the guy is an undercover cop for the mafia, and he's like doing, hey, bada bing, bada boom, and all the mafia people are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, we don't talk like that. Like, I think this movie has so much of that in here, but I think it all comes from here. And I think at that time, we never even heard that before. You know what I mean? Like in New York, it might have been a mainstay, but in Middle America, you probably never heard people really talking like that. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
yeah, because didn't this movie really expose people or start to expose people to the mafia and just the fact that they were still alive and thriving in some kind of way?
It was mostly Godfather, because at this point, people didn't want to admit that the mafia existed.
Because the mafia back in the days was, hey, see, I got this Tommy gun, see?
Yeah,
copper.
It wasn't like this.
No.
I would like to see like a graph.
Chicago.
A graph that documented young white kids doing Italian accents in 1970, 1971, 1972. It's like fucking everybody after
you're a beautiful dame, see? And we're gonna go to the store, see?
All right.
But this is different where you mook and all this other shit to where they talking.
I just realized, I'm sorry, Mookie from fucking Do the Right Thing. That's where it was. I was like, where did I read this from?
So hold on. A 4.25 from Fable. I'm not trying to be this guy. I feel like you're forgetting what show you're on. This is PCP movie night. We don't do that fucking soft ass fucking 0.25 bullshit.
Oh, come on. You're giving 2 5s.
It's a 0.0 or it's a 0.5 or it's a point something 69. So,
All right. So if we're,
whatever.
I have a feeling you've given
I mean,
two
he's
fives,
not
but it's
wrong.
okay. It's okay.
He's not wrong.
We'll if it has to be that way, then we'll go up, not down. 4.5.
How about a 4.269?
No, 4.5. Let's do 4.5.
Well, no, I'm not trying to be that guy to fucking influence you or anything like that. I'm just saying, like a 4.5.
You know what? I feel comfortable with it because it's a movie that everybody.
I just want everybody to realize that we're not some bullshit fucking show
like
on
we're in the middle of
YouTube,
this
man. We don't do
Charlie
point
fight.
fucking.
For those that don't know,
2.5s.
he's talking
Okay.
about my show.
Yeah, wow. Like,
Make it clear.
just say it, man. Just say it.
Oh, I'm talking about you, and I'm talking about DHS, and I'm talking about every other movie review show I've ever seen.
So that's the difference. That's the difference. Is somebody goes 0.5 or 0.25? Like that's
We don't do that. That's too easy. Anyway.
It's
But yeah, no. If it
2%.
has to be one or the other,
Yeah,
then I'll go up. It's
The
gonna
fractions is a month.
No, Link, I was gonna have to adjust my score until I was like, you know what? Let me just make it that line in the fucking sand right now. We don't do this bullshit fucking pussy
You're
fucking
toe over the line,
0.25, point
Hey,
fucking 75.
I remember that you keep that 0.69 shit out of BSC then. All right? Remember that shit.
Market zero, baby.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I'm going to rate this film a 4.5. First of all, I have balls, and I don't have to go in the middle or anything like that. But I think this movie is brilliant. I think it's like, it is what Scorsese is in the rest of his career, but the very beginnings of it. And there is room to grow, and that room to me is a 0.569. Just so you know. All right.
You've given
that's a
shittier
4.
movies than this a 5.
You're gonna die.
Fuck you.
You're gonna die on that hill. You're gonna die on
Yeah,
that
dude.
hill.
Let me tell you something. I gave Masters of the Universe a 5. Think about that.
I
Bro.
did too.
Think
It
about
was
that.
awesome.
Yeah. So did Delaney. I think
awesome.
Brooks may have done it too, man. I'm just saying, like,
But it ain't Goodfellas. It ain't Goodfellas.
I think we all gave Goodfellas a 5, but
It's all relative.
it is all relative and it's all in fun.
Yeah.
I think the whole point is that Mean Streets is a great movie.
Yes.
A 4 from Delaney. A 4.5 from Verno. A 4.5 from Stu and Brooks and myself. And I'm not giving you the 4.5 Fable. I'm giving you the 4.2 fucking 5. I'm going to let your ass be where you were. Right there in the fucking middle. You're like Charlie. Not deciding that Johnny Boy is beneath him and he needs to move the fuck on.
Wow.
I'm tired of these non-0.5 fucking reviews. Y'all are bullshit. I'm just saying, all right?
Well, you
All
want
right?
you want a 10-point system. We're making a 20-point system.
It's a 5-point system. It is the 10-point system. There's no difference. A 4.5 is a 9.
Turn Teresa into a fit, man.
Jesus Christ.
You need to chill out.
I'm sorry. And if you're not down with PCPX, I got 2 words for you. PCP does the ratings better. I don't give a shit, dude. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? I'm sorry. Let me just get this out here right now. Anytime any of these motherfuckers talk about a movie, including Verno. Verno, you know I love your show. I'm on your show so often. But when I hear you allow people to do this 0.25 bullshit, it fucking irritates the fuck out of me, dude.
I prefer.
Why, bro? Why?
This is the difference.
Why is a 0.5 okay and a 0.25
because it's pussyfooting, man. It's pussyfooting, man.
You remember when I used to do the A plus?
Do they do that shit in the Olympics?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They don't do 0.5s at the Olympics? No.
They do 0.5s in the Olympics, motherfucker.
I think you just better chill, Rock. You better chill, Rock.
I don't give a
Leave it
fuck.
right
It's the
there.
year of the
Don't
heel,
follow
man.
that hill, bro.
We're rolling with it. No other movie review knows what the fuck I am.
Come in here with that 0.25 bullshit.
Just in the backlog.
Link just changed his rating from a 4.25 to a 4.15.
That's what I said. 4.15. Let's go. Let's go.
Jesus.
All right, I don't give a fuck. That's a PCP average of 4.369. How about that? Sound good?
I think we're all in the same ballpark.
We're all in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
you all know me, man.
I think we're all in like lockstep agreement on it.
We're all in lockstep agreement. I just wanted to talk some shit about Blood Splatter Chatter real quick because
thanks for the
your show sucks, man.
Thank you.
So
That's a bully.
I'm just kidding, man.
This is the villain arc, man.
And if you're not down with Blood Splatter Chatter, I got 2 words for you.
Why?
Fuck off and unsubscribe. There you go. There you go.
Main Streets.
Somebody needs to come at you with a steel chair.
I goddamn dare you, Brooks. I fucking dare you to come at me with a steel chair, man. I know how to get my hands up, man. There you go. Right? By the way, first wrestling pay-per-view, I know they're no longer pay-per-views, but like first wrestling pay-per-view I've watched in like over 2 decades. Had so much fun with Royal Rumble. Fable, thank you for being a part of that. I would give Royal Rumble a 4.15.
Royal Rumble was good, dude.
Verno, I'm sad. I'm sorry that if every time you get on your Peacock, you're like, why is all this WWE content fucking
I've been on it a little bit. I've been on, and honestly, I didn't even know I gave you my Peacock, so I'm glad now if I look at it.
Oh, dude, I've been all up on your Peacock, man, and it keeps telling me last thing you watched. It keeps telling me last thing you watched was WWE shit and how the Grinch stole Christmas.
Yeah, I haven't been on Peacock. When you said that, I'm like, damn, it's been a while. I've been on a bit of a WWE. Well, that Netflix. What's his fucking Vince McMahon documentary? Check it out. It'll get you hyped. It takes you through the whole history. It'll get you hyped.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. A 4.4, what did I say? 69 for PCP?
369.
369, you say.
You stuck to your guns. You stuck to your guns. Let's move on.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I don't give a shit. All y'all that do the 0.25 and 0.75, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It's bullshit.
There's different ways.
I just want everybody to know you're not allowed to do that here. You're not allowed to do that. You can do a 0.69. I don't give it. You could go 0.2569. I'd be like, station.
It's the same shit, Robbie.
It's a bit. God damn it, Fable. All right. Go watch Mean Streets if you haven't already. Next week, here on PCP Movie Night, we're talking about Blue Velvet.
Yes.
And I'm very excited for this because when we set this up, we did not anticipate the death of David Lynch. So I feel like this is going to be our David Lynch tribute.
Go on.
To be talking about Blue Velvet next Monday night. When am I going to watch it? I don't fucking know because I'm going to MegaCon on Wednesday morning, but we'll figure it out. But Blue Velvet next week. Jelani, thank you so much for being here. Final thoughts? What you got coming up?
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk. This was a great conversation, by the way. Yeah, Mean Streets needs to be talked about. Scorsese needs to be talked about. He's a brilliant filmmaker. His projects are just they're awesome. Everything he's done so far is really fantastic. So to have the conversation with you guys has been very good. Brooks and I do this show called Go Figure Reviews. Well, we had a very special guest on our show for the last 2 videos. One is the Christopher Reeve. What is that? Christopher Reeve chase figure for Superman 3 versus our Page Puncher Superman. That's the comic version. Our very special guest was Tony, the Hitman Horton.
Oh.
He did both videos with us. He was all scared. So this is the funny part. Just to bring this up real quick, the funny part of Tony being there was he talks a big game. He talks the smack. He does the thing. But when the camera's turned on, silence.
Uh-oh.
Silence.
Not as easy as we make it look.
Not as easy.
When the camera's turned on, he goes 0.69.
You guys are nasty.
0.15.
You guys are nasty.
Anyway, and so we did that one, and we did our video, which is not up yet, but it will be soon, of the Player 2 Ken and the DJ figures from Jada Toys. These are amazing. They're still awesome. We're still talking about them. This video will be up soon. I just had to make a thumbnail. There's the thumbnail. Hope you liked it. Yeah. Watch
And
our
if you
show.
didn't like it, I got 2 words for you. 0.15.
That's keywords. But
he's gonna die on that hill, guys.
He's been dead on. He's gushing. He's twitching.
Body full of holes right
my
now.
man. You know how
Love
much I love Blood Splatter Chatter. I know you're excited that Buffy got announced for a reboot
Yes.
coming up, but what you got coming up, man? And
I have this Thursday night on Blood Splatter Chatter. We're talking my brother Link's pick, Warm Bodies. Cute, fun ass little good way to kick off February with a little love story, horror, zombie kind of thing. And then a Werewolves Within, which is it's not as well. Sound just went out, but I think you guys can hear me. It's not as good, but it is cute. There's something about it that I like. It's a werewolf who done it kind of slasher horror comedy. Check it out. And then come hang out with us on Thursdays at 8.
You guys did the wrestling movie, right?
Yeah, it sucked.
Really? Oh,
which one? What?
Yeah,
the wrestling horror movie that just came out.
I checked it out. I did a quick review. Dark matches.
It sucks.
Skip it.
Yeah.
Had Chris Jericho in it. Skip it.
Poor Jericho.
Fuck.
How the mighty have fallen.
Jericho hasn't been good since WrestleMania, like fucking 18 or some shit like that.
He was okay in AEW until he wasn't.
What about you, Stu? Speaking of the Chris Jericho of PCP.
Wow, damn. I'm not, fuck that. I reject that shit. Don't get mad at me. 0.5, 0.25 shit now. All right. Yeah, every Wednesday night, B&E talking comics old and not old and new. Talking our favorite new releases from the previous week. Marvel, DC, Image, and the Indies. And my surrounded by short boxes, talking about my favorite back issues from the personal collection, what I would love about them so much. I should have a new episode up tomorrow or Wednesday, so look out for that. And then, of course, I will be on Blame Fable on Friday night, and I will be on Blood Splatter Chatter on Thursday night. So check me for both of those. Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah. Blood Splatter Chatter is cool, but he'll allow you to do a point fucking
wow,
or some shit like that.
Dragging us through the dirt, bro.
He's gonna get done with this, and he's gonna listen to Tom Petty albums all fucking night. I don't know why. I feel like he's in that kind of mood.
Brooks, I love you being here, man. Final thoughts, my dude. I give you a 4.69 anytime, man. Just so you know.
Oh wow, high praise.
Clip it.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
But here at PCP, we don't go to church to absolve our sins. We take it to the mean streets of Huntsville.
They are mean now.
We hit Governor's Drive with our boombox and spit at cops. That's how we cleanse our sins.
We do crime.
Here in HSV, bro.
Herpes simplex virus?
I'm being a bit facetious.
Fable, I'll give you a 4.983. So why don't you tell us what you got coming up, motherfucker?
Oh man, you know.
And fuck you for that 0.25 shit, man. I told y'all this doesn't work on PCP. Fuck. Now you're making me look like the asshole, man. Am I the asshole? Am I the Johnny boy or am I the Michael trying to make sure that I don't get disrespected?
You're Tony.
You're the Michael. You're trying to.
No, I'm going to make I'm going to have Travis. I'm going to have Travis. I'm going to have Tom. You allow people to give a 0.25 on your YouTube channel? I can't do that, man. I can't abide by that, man. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, bro, I've come on to every other YouTube
on your fucking rug, man.
And giving it a 0.25. Why did you think I was going to come onto your channel and not give it a 0.25? You know what I mean? Like, I got it from Johnny Boys on that.
But when he does 1.5 on BSC, you tell him we're not taking that bullshit. You did 75 or 25.
I don't do that bullshit, man. Just so you know.
What?
I'm depressed. I'm depressed right now. I can't afford a 0.25 to anybody else. What do you think, man?
Fucking mook.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Blame
what do you got
Friday.
coming up, Fable? Jesus Christ.
On Friday, we'll get together with a bunch of my Mook friends and we go over some bullshit. And yeah. Come check it out. Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. One collection.
All right, Mookie. Good job, Mookie.
I didn't think I was gonna heel turn on my own fucking panel, man. But like, fuck, it, like, who gives a shit?
Just did that. Yes.
It's the year of the heel.
Its aggression will not stand, man.
I'll be at MegaCon in a tank demanding a pass on Thursday afternoon. So join us over at MegaCon. That's gonna be super fun. But next week, Blue Velvet. That's gonna be a great show, y'all. Who's gonna be on that show? Do y'all know? I don't know. Me, Jelani Brooks, Verno, Spilio, and Joe Corello.
Ooh,
I'm about to have to remind. I guarantee you, Spilio's not going to be there because he's already forgotten about it.
I'm messaging him right now.
I'm going to see him at MegaCon this week and be like, "Did you watch Blue Velvet?" And he's going to be like, "No." I'll be like, "I brought my Blu-ray player and my Blu-ray. Let's look it up in the hotel room." Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, y'all should watch it together.
That's a good idea. Oh, I would love it. The only problem is we would be distracted in the middle of it when I started giving him a hand job. Anyway, moving on. Next week, Blue Velvet. You know, a hand job from Spilio is like a 3.09.
Wow.
To be honest with you.
Wow.
Spilio, step your game up, man. What are we doing out here?
He ain't watching.
To be fair, it's a hand job. I mean, there's no. You know,
I mean, 3.0. Who wants a 3.09 for a hand job? Though?
They don't get much better than that, man.
Blue Velvet next week.
I feel like they can
check out Blood Spider Chatter. They're talking about Warm Bodies and Werewolf Within. Fucking goddamn Stewards and Inks. Ink and Insights is coming up, as well as the short box. What is it? Short box.
Surrounded by short boxes. It's okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort. Yeah.
Fuck you, man. Jelani's doing his bullshit. Right over there.
Fuck you.
Fable's doing his thing, but I won't be there this week. But it's all good. All right, everywhere.
Fucking Luke.
Everybody, don't be a mook and go sub up to
to
everybody here on this panel because they're all amazing. We all love each other, and that's why we can joke around. But if one of us was the Johnny Boy, we really do owe it to all of ourselves to cut us off.
To let him get shot in the neck.
Yeah.
And none of us are Johnny Boys. Our Johnny Boy is Scarpad.
Probably, yeah. Somebody over there.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I mean,
anyway,
it'll be clipped. Watch out, dog. It's about to be clipped.
Does anybody have this guy's button?
I can't. I get in enough trouble for laughing at the shit.
I don't give a shit. Thank you all so much for joining us for Mean Streets, a review longer than the movie. And if you're not cool with that, I got 2 words for you. Fuck off. How about that? So suck it and dip dots and you dig and all that bullshit. And yeah, keep on reading because you don't know movies. So keep reading those comments.